Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our look at NPKB, or WUFU, and hitting maybe the most critical phase for any tech startup, actually getting paid. They've got the brains, the design, but zero revenue.
Exactly. It's early 1995. They've been operating for over a year. They've got that $700,000 in seed funding, thanks partly to Michael and Steve's late investment. The tech, the 14K modem using the host CPU, it looks brilliant on paper and in the FPGA demo.
But demos don't pay the bills. The pressure is mounting.
Immense pressure. This is where Michael Zhao Ikiran, the business lead, really has to step up. The engineers, Lucas Zhang and Alex Liang, they're, let's say, getting restless.
Understandable. They believe the product's ready.
They absolutely do. They actually confronted Michael pretty angrily, apparently, demanding orders. Their argument was, look, it's cheaper, it works, the FPGA board approves it, just swap it for the real chip later, what's the holdup?
Which sounds logical from an engineering perspective, maybe.
Maybe, but Michael had this, well, perfect comeback. He basically asked them, how can I sell a daughter, meaning the chip, that hasn't even been born yet?
Ah, right. That cuts right to the core problem, doesn't it? The information gap. He knew the big manufacturers, the GVCs of the world, they operate on certainty. They wouldn't commit to mass production based on a promise.
Precisely. No matter how good that promise looked on an FPGA board, committing millions in production, they needed to see the actual ASIC, the final silicon. This led Michael to his science of exchange insight. He realized he couldn't just knock on the front door of the market leaders.
So find another way in.
Find the leverage point, and he saw it in the distributors. Rockwell, the big dog in the motor market, was keeping supply tight to keep prices high. These distributors, especially in booming markets, were starved for product. They couldn't get enough allocation.
So they were hungry and vulnerable, maybe.
Hungry is the key word. Michael decided to target them first, specifically Japan and Korea. Huge markets, fierce competition among distributors there. Japan alone was looking at, 3.6 million modems needed for 1996?
Okay, so the strategy shifts. Forget the cautious giants. Go for the aggressive, supply-starved distributors in key markets. How did he approach them?
He and Alex literally hit the road. Get this, they were carrying these massive, 15-pound, 486 laptops.
Oh, man, I remember those beasts.
Right, lugging those things around, setting up the NPKB FPGA board right next to a top-tier Rockwell card, doing live side-by-side demos. The performance was compelling on its own.
The demo isn't the whole pitch. What was the actual offer?
This is where Michael's genius really shone. He crafted an offer designed specifically to exploit Rockwell's weaknesses and the distributor's frustrations. It had 3 core parts.
Okay, lay them out for us.
1, price. A straight 20% cut compared to what they were paying Rockwell. Immediately appealing.
Okay, simple enough. Number 2.
2, profit. A guaranteed 30% gross profit margin. Now, this was crucial. It was about 1.6 times what they were making on Rockwell chips. More money in their pocket, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's a serious incentive. What was the third part? You said it was the killer.
Unlimited supply. That was the absolute game changer. No more begging Rockwell for allocation. NPKB promised them as many chips as they could sell. He wasn't just selling a modem, he was selling them freedom from Rockwell's control and a much better profit equation.
Wow. Okay, that is an irresistible offer.
Oh.
But the chip still didn't exist. How do you get actual money, not just excitement, for something that's still basically vaporware?
That was the gamble. Michael needed proof. Not just handshakes, but financial commitment. So to grant these distributors the exclusive rights they desperately wanted in their regions, he demanded 2 things.
This sounds intense. What were they?
First, a detailed, ambitious 3-year business plan. Show me you're serious. Show me the numbers. Second, and this is the big one, an irrevocable letter of credit, an LC, for 10% of their projected first year's volume as an upfront down payment.
An LC. So basically, a bank guarantee that the money is there, committed. That's asking a lot up front.
A huge ask. It's putting serious money down on a promise. But it was the price of admission for that exclusive deal, for escaping Rockwell's grip. It was the core of his beauty of business approach, turning potential into hard currency.
And did it work? Did they bite?
It worked spectacularly. By mid-1995, Michael had secured $350,000 in LCs from distributors in Japan, specifically CEU and Korea. That translated, after banking fees and processes, into $275,000 hitting NPKB's actual accounting books.
Their first real revenue. After over a year of burning cash, that must have felt incredible.
Oh, a massive relief, certainly. But the source notes Michael's reaction was more like conservative joy. He knew what he'd done. He'd secured cash based on a future commitment. The clock was now ticking, loudly. Those LCs had deadlines. They had to deliver the chip.
Right. The success immediately ratchets up the pressure and exposes any weaknesses. And MPKB certainly had some internal friction brewing.
It absolutely did. Success didn't solve the internal issues, it amplified them. With these orders now confirmed and evaluation boards actually selling well, too, Alex was apparently surprised they could charge $1,000 for them. The internal stress just skyrocketed.
You mentioned Lucas, the engineering lead, had a particular management style.
Yes, Lucas Zhang. Driven by perfectionism, which is great for tech, but maybe less great for managing people. He apparently tried to fire a very capable engineer named Phil Hong over what sounds like pretty minor differences in how software updates were handled.
Wow. That couldn't have helped team morale.
No, it caused real tension, especially with Alex Liang, who valued Phil's skills. And then you had external pressure piling on, too. The Japanese distributor, CEU, they lived up to their reputation for JPI, that obsessive focus on perfection.
What does that look like on the ground?
They sent 3 engineers over who demanded testing 6 days a week, and they generated a list of 150 highly detailed, specific questions and issues. It just completely swamped the MPKB engineering team, who were already stretched thin trying to finalize the actual chip design.
So internal conflict, external pressure. Sounds like a recipe for problems. Were there management issues higher up contributing to this?
Definitely. And this points to Kyler Zhang, the CEO. Michael Ho, in his account, highlights Kyler's, let's say, lack of rigorous management structure. Michael was trying to build a global sales strategy, but Kyler hadn't established clear reporting lines.
How did that cause problems?
Well, for instance, George Chen, who was handling things in Taiwan, was apparently bypassing Michael and reporting directly to Kyler or others. This completely undermined Michael's ability to set a coherent global price and sales strategy. You can't have different people making different promises in different regions.
Chaos. But wasn't there an even bigger, more existential problem looming? Something related to the hardware itself?
Yes, and this was arguably the most dangerous flaw, the one that threatened everything. The codec crisis.
The codec. Explain that for us. What is it and why was it a crisis?
Okay, so the modem chip NPKB designed handles the digital stuff, but the phone line is analog. The codec coder decoder is the crucial little chip that translates between the analog phone signal and the digital data the modem chip understands. It's the bridge.
Got it. So you need both. What was the crisis?
The NPKB design specified a particular codec chip made only by a French company, SGS Thompson. And then beta testers started reporting back. They couldn't buy the specific codec chip anywhere.
Uh-oh. Single point of failure.
Exactly. A massive single point of failure. It seems Kyler and the hardware team hadn't done proper due diligence on the supply chain for this critical external component. There was maybe some vague talk that a Texas Instruments chip might work, but no real testing, no confirmed backup plan.
So even if they miraculously finished their own complex ASIC on time?
If they couldn't get the codec from SGS Thompson, their chip was useless, a paperweight. And those LCs they just secured, they'd likely have to be refunded. NPKB would face an immediate cash crisis. Bankruptcy, potentially. It exposed a huge gap in design management and communication.
Just a staggering oversight. How did Michael react to this unfolding potential disaster on top of everything else?
He knew they had to move on multiple fronts simultaneously. Defensively, to fix the codec issue. Offensively, to keep building market momentum despite the internal chaos. He couldn't afford to wait.
Let's talk about the offensive strategy first. He couldn't go head-to-head with Rockwell's biggest customers yet, right?
Right. Direct confrontation was suicide. So he embraced that classic strategy. In countryside surrounding the city, don't attack the heavily fortified castles, win over the smaller towns and villages first.
Find the allies who are also looking to challenge the status quo.
Precisely. He called them the brave fish. Smaller, aggressive, growth-hungry companies who are also feeling squeezed by Rockwell. He found a perfect example in Singapore's M-Wave, led by a very receptive CEO, Chen Aibai.
And M-Wave was willing to take the risk.
Absolutely. They saw the opportunity. They committed immediately to a 2,000-unit trial order, ready to go the moment NPKB could deliver the chip. This validated the strategy. Find agile partners, offer them a better deal, and build momentum from the periphery.
While all this is happening, the market itself isn't standing still, is it?
Not at all. NPKB had just secured orders for their 14K modem chip, but the industry was already pivoting. The next big thing was the 28K standard, V.34, and Rockwell. They were already testing their V.34 chips.
So NPKB was potentially winning the battle, but already behind in the next war.
It looked that way. But here's where the NPKB team's technical confidence, maybe bordering on audacity, really showed. They told Michael basically, yeah, we can catch up. We can do 28K.
Incredible confidence. What gave them that belief, especially with all the internal issues?
A huge piece of external validation came around this time, actually late 1994. At the big Comdex tech show, Intel CEO, the legendary Andy Grove, announced something called native signal processing, or NSP.
NSP, how did that relate to NPKB?
It was everything. Remember NPKB's core design philosophy? Offload the complex signal processing from the modem chip onto the main computer's CPU. This made their chip simpler and cheaper. It was a bit controversial initially.
Okay.
Well, Intel's NSP was basically the same idea. Intel was saying the future involved a powerful host CPU taking on more of these specialized tasks. Suddenly, the industry titan Intel was validating NPKB's fundamental architectural choice.
Wow. That's not just a morale boost. That's a massive strategic advantage. It gives them cover, legitimacy.
Huge legitimacy. It gave them a powerful story to tell potential partners and investors. See, even Intel agrees this is the future. It provided crucial air cover while they scrambled internally.
So despite the codec crisis, the internal friction, the race against Rockwell's 28K chip, they had this major Intel validation and those first crucial orders secured by LCs. Michael must have felt conflicted.
Deeply uneasy is probably the right term. He explicitly embraced this philosophy, A, which translates roughly to live in vigilance or thrive in adversity, always be aware of potential failure. The LG fabrication delay had already pushed the ASIC delivery to August 1995. The codec problem was a ticking time bomb. The internal conflicts weren't resolving themselves.
He knew the early wins were fragile.
Very fragile. So, driven by the sense of urgency, this live in fear of failure mindset, he pushed the team to immediately tackle 4 critical strategic priorities to shore up the company's future. He knew they couldn't rest.
Okay, what were these 4 non-negotiables for survival?
First, patents. Get formal patent protection filed immediately for their core software methods, especially the host signal processing approach. Protect the crown jewels.
Makes sense. Lock down the IP. What was second?
Second, Intel. Aggressively pursue talks with Intel. Given the NSP alignment, explore everything, selling them chips, licensing the technology, maybe even selling the whole company. Recognize the value Intel's validation created.
Interesting. Planning an exit strategy, even as you're just getting started. Very pragmatic.
Absolutely. Always know your options. Third, and this was the most immediate fire, a formal design review focused squarely on the codec crisis. They needed a concrete, tested contingency plan. No more relying on SGS Thompson alone. Find alternatives, verify them, secure supply. This was life or death for the current orders.
Address the single point of failure urgently. And the 4th priority.
Fourth, the 28K chip. An all-hands-on-deck push to develop and launch their V.34 modem immediately. Don't just react to Rockwell. Leapfrog them if possible, or at least meet them head-on in the next-generation market. The 14K window was closing fast.
So secure the IP, leverage Intel, fix the supply chain, and jump to the next tech standards. That's a lot to do simultaneously.
It's the reality of that growth stage. Michael's achievement wasn't just bringing in the first $350,000 in LCs. It was forcing the company to confront its weaknesses while simultaneously executing an incredibly clever market entry strategy against a dominant player. He turned engineering potential into cash, then used that pressure to try and forge a more resilient company.
And did that strategy ultimately pay off? The countryside surrounding the city, the focus on partners like M-Wave?
It absolutely did. They eventually launched the 28K chip successfully. By 1996, their strategy was clearly working. They were winning share from Rockwell in multiple markets, not by converting Rockwell's biggest customers directly, but by empowering these smaller, hungrier players. Michael's approach wasn't just about NPKB making money, it was ensuring their customers, the distributors, were making significantly more money too.
That builds loyalty fast.
Exactly. And this foundation set them up for explosive growth later. When a major PC manufacturer called E-Machine, known for really aggressive pricing, adopted NPKB's chips for their low-cost PCs, NPKB's revenue just soared.
And the payoff for the early believers?
Astronomical. By the time things peaked, NPKB's effective share value reached around $70, representing something like a 250-fold return for those initial investors who put money in back when it was just 3 guys and an idea.
An incredible outcome. Truly Michael Ho's most successful campaign, navigating from near zero to market disruption.
Definitely a high point. But even as the company started turning profitable in late 1996, Michael kept hammering that message of soon. He famously warned the team something like, all is not lost that is in danger, meaning vigilance is most critical when things seem to be going well. Don't get complacent, keep shoring up the foundations.
It's a powerful lesson. Engineering brilliance is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You need that relentless, strategic, sometimes brutally pragmatic business execution to actually build a lasting company, especially against entrenched giants.
Michael's role was pivotal. He wasn't just selling technology, he was identifying market leverage, managing extreme risk, and essentially selling a guarantee, a path to better profits and freedom for his partners, even before the core product was fully baked. He forced the creation of value.
When you look back at this whole NPKB story we've covered, it really underscores that innovation isn't just the invention itself. It's the entire, often messy, high-stakes process of translating that invention into something the market will actually pay for, delivering on the promise, and building a sustainable business around it.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of entrepreneurship and innovation.
This series chronicles not just the successful trajectory of a company, but the practical, spirited process of moving from 0 to 1, from concept to market reality.
Every listener who pauses to reflect on this story is part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Your attention and critical thinking allow these narratives to endure.
If you heard a moment that resonated with your own experiences, I encourage you to return and listen again.
Entrepreneurial revelations are often understood differently at various stages of one's career. For more details, you can refer to Silicon to Gold by Michael Ho.
Please subscribe, share your thoughts, or pass this on to a partner currently building their dream.
This is not merely the end of a story, but the continuation of a dialogue on innovation.
In the world of entrepreneurship, vision precedes capital, and conviction drives the market.
Thank you for listening. We will see you in the next chapter.